Hello everybody, you're with Tacitus Today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for watching. While you're with us, please take a moment to subscribe below. So let's do some pushing back against the cultural SJW Marxist hate directed at straight white males. In this video essay, I'd like to talk about why in present-day Western societies, white middle-class men are so intensively hated by the media, academia, most of the political elite, and of course not leave out the baying SJW mob. No lie is too big or too fantastic to concoct when it comes to demonising white middle-class men. So white middle-class men must be really, really, really bad, right? I mean, like, why else would all these bad things be said about them? Yet, white middle-class men are the least likely to murder or assault anyone. The least likely of all groups to assault and or rape women. They work the longest hours, are the least likely to be unemployed or commit any sort of crime. Most likely to prosper in a merit-based system that rewards hard work. They pay into society far more tax than they take out, and are most likely to accept civic duties and responsibilities seriously. Most successful businesses are started by middle-class white males, who in turn employ the most workers. Almost every piece of technology you see and use today has been invented by a white male. In a democratic rule of law, due legal process, merit-based society, white people with such views and values and achievements are by any measure very desirable and model citizens. But in a society where democracy and due legal process are under assault from all sides, maybe such people, white middle-class men, are now an irritant, if not an obstacle, to the new world order where democracy and due legal process increasingly have no place. So why is all this demonisation of white men, and it's all made up and relentlessly peddled? We know it's pure invention and hysterical propaganda. White men are everywhere falsely depicted as wife-beating, child-abusing, rapists, Nazi, bigot oppressors. And what's more, all this white man-hating propaganda is paid for with your taxes or tax exemption and approved by the politicians, most of whom are white, straight men, approved by the politicians that you elect. Doing street interviews at protests and marches of both marchers and observers, it was clear that white middle-class men were the only class of people who in any appreciable numbers believed in democracy, accountability of government and public institutions, that the poor should be helped. They opposed corruption. They believed news should be factual and accurate. They believed that their children should have a better life than they had through hard work and self-reliance. And they believe in self-reliance rather than reliance on the state. This is a general observation that, say, 10% of white men under 30 years might hold such views, believing in democracy and accountability of government, and this number increases somewhat to perhaps 25% as men get older and take on more responsibility. Women, and rather young women, have fallen completely for the cultural Marxist SJW propaganda narrative, and probably 1%, maybe even less, have the vaguest concept of democracy, due legal process, or consider it in any way relevant. This improves only slightly amongst women over the age of 30. Nearly all young women and a majority of young men have suckered for the propaganda that society is an evil straight white male construct which must be overthrown at any cost. Any alternative, no matter how bad, must be better, and any price is worth paying to achieve it. Like the unicorn, utopia could be just around the next corner. So how in touch with the issues are these young women? And here's an example. Here's a question. What do you think of President Donald Trump's immigration policy?
It's like really racist because he's like this fascist Nazi, like Hitler.
Well, here's another question. Do you know any details on the immigration policy that, as you say, is fascist?
I don't know. I don't need details. Just like he wants to, do like what Hitler did.
So another question. So what did Hitler do? What do you mean? So what bad things did Hitler do? So to another question, have you ever heard of Chairman Mao or Pol Pot?
Who? No.
What about the KGB or the Stasi?
What are they?
Do you think honest, democratic, accountable government and impartial courts of law are more important than transgender bathrooms?
No. What's more important than transgender bathrooms? Transgender bathrooms show like how much we care.
Non-whites and non-white minorities fared about the same as young women, knowing little and caring even less, while being completely prepared to unquestioningly believe any anti-white male story, no matter how ridiculous, far-fetched and absurd. Young women, as an example, listed protesting against netting swimming beaches from great white sharks as a top, if not urgent, priority, while a free and honest media, scrupulously honest and impartial courts of law, do not even get a mention as having any importance. Similarly, promoting gay marriage was more important than honest and accountable government and the democratic process itself. Remarkably, many young people under, say, late 20s, but particularly young women and third world minorities, regarded equal social outcomes as being tantamount to, if not considerably more important than anything else in a democracy. What seemed like a weird parallel universe. Murder was just a who cares shoulder shrug, whereas mention of the patriarchy generated instant, violent emotions. A surprising number of people believed a free and honest press meant censoring anyone who supported Donald Trump. Okay, so here's the thing. Only white males, or at least white males in the appreciable numbers, possess the critical thinking skills or perhaps just the inclination or desire to come to grips with the facts of any given socio-political situation and weigh the actual probabilities and sift the facts. Only the white male group, or maybe a quarter or a fifth of white males, can critically analyse news and government announcements or information on the blogosphere and know for sure that college rape epidemics are a pure fiction, as is the alleged violence against women epidemic, also a pure political invention. They oppose unsustainable migration for its impracticalities and strongly resent being called a racist, bigot, Nazi for asking questions or putting forward sensible positions on any of these topics. The capacity for critical thought and the ability to detect hypocrisy is not simply the capacity to digest and comprehend facts, but that such comprehension is reference to reality, not an imaginary world of SJW political hack propaganda. An appreciation of reality primarily comes from having made life decisions, business decisions, decisions on behalf of others, such as children and family members, not as a passive actor, but as an individual exercising a full agency and accepting the responsibility and accepting the consequences of actions and learning lessons and making better decisions next time. And importantly, not giving up in pursuing your attainable, realistic goals. Those who have succeeded on occasion and failed on other occasions, who take and accept the personal responsibility and consequences of their own decisions, are and will never be numerous in any society. But of any class, it is from this group that will come those who will naturally and meritoriously rise to the upper echelons by the quality of their ideas and will naturally be influencers, opinion shapers, and become fixed points around which sensible social political values will coalesce. They are the protectors of cohesion, the protectors of community, and the protectors of common sense. Any revolution that does not seek the support of the people, if it is to succeed, must kill off or marginalise, demonise or subjugate this group. If the revolution is to have any hope of achieving its objectives, this group must be bribed and the rest neutralised. This is held true in all the 20th century communist revolutions and earlier. Anyone who does not believe the revolutionary lies and propaganda, or at least doesn't do a good enough job of pretending to, is, by conflation, an enemy of the state and must be demonised and dealt with. Such is the lot today of straight white males. President Trump's election and Brexit are all down to evil white men, we are told. The Stalinist Soviets and the murderous Maoist thugs would have called them counter-revolutionaries. If lies and propaganda believers were the only ones who could vote, Hillary would have been elected and Brexit would never have happened, or so the propagandists, and many of them the people you elect, claim. As all major political party machines in the West support sending Western jobs offshore to third world economies, supporting high migration from those areas and people least likely to integrate, frequently turn a blind eye to mass illegal immigration, openly consort with media outlets to create and coordinate false and deceptive propaganda narratives, and maintain an unending, entrenched, anti-white middle-class male position, democracy as a choice between ideas and policies has already ended. Coercion and intimidation of citizens via accusation alone, supported by courts and star chambers where due legal process is no longer operating, is now widespread across the West as a means of silencing disagreement or dissent about policies that voters would never have approved or voted for. So ask yourself this: the politicians you vote for that draw a salary from the taxes you pay, who are mostly middle-class white heterosexual males, why are they trying so hard and spending so much of your taxes to destroy the Western white male middle class? Why are they doing this? If not you, the people, who will ask the questions? You're with Tacitus Today and your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.